Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a Neuvillette listener by me. So let's get into it. He was clueless about a lot of things that humans did, and that was fine with him. A lot of the time he didn't need to know. Some things were better left as they are, and that meant some things that he didn't know about should be like that, kept in the dark. Ignorance was a bless, as they said, and he was happy being blessed sometimes. A lot of the time, he had wondered about many things humans did, only to find out they were completely strange to him in a way that felt a little bit too much. So, of course, sometimes he's simply delighted that he can just ignore it and not want to understand anything. However, dating a human often meant that you had to understand humans as well. Everything they did, and a lot of the things that they said. So when something like this happened, he could at least understand where you were coming from. But alas, he did not. In fact, he was entirely clueless and had no idea what you were even attempting to say. It was a little bit much for him, and it was fine. You didn't expect him to actually understand. But it was a little bit funny to see his face just be completely confused and warped in such a way that he looks at you as if you had grown two heads. Lion, my apologies, but I truly do not understand. What do you mean when you call me daddy? What is that? I'm not a father as far as I know, unless you're counting the Millicines. Oh, Neuvillette. You know, despite being a couple 100 years old, you're surprisingly precious. Precious? And that would apply to you, not me, my dear, he says. And you chuckle, shaking your head as you wrap an arm around him. What I mean is, you're really cute sometimes, even though you're not aware of it. But I'm sure that one day you will be able to understand where I come from. Now, what I meant to say earlier, well, some people say this. Sometimes. It's usually said in more intimate circumstances. Intimate? You mean he gave you a look, like he couldn't continue, and you laughed softly? Yes, what you're wondering. You know, despite being from Fontaine, you're quite a prude sometimes. I'm not a prude. I am simply unused to such things. Please be patient with me. And you would be. Of course you would be. You couldn't be anything else with Neuvillette. So as he looked at you for a moment, he let out a sigh, shaking his head. I truly do not understand sometimes. You don't understand? What do you mean? I really explained everything. You did, but that made it even more confusing. Why would such a term be used in an intimate manner? I don't understand the nature of it. Frankly, I dislike it. A thing like that, a word so precious, should not be used in such a way. At least that's what I think. And of course Neuvillette would think this way. You're not really sure what you expected. But then again, you were not really surprised. That was Neuvillette you were talking about. So, all of this behavior, it's so him, in a way that makes it really adorable. You know what? There are so many other terms, Neuvillette. You know, if you want to learn. No, I truly do not. I assume there is mother, like mommy as well. Yeah, there is. But I'm not actually the best description for a mommy, am I? He shook his head, blushing brightly. He was starting to understand where it was coming from, but he really felt uncomfortable with it. And so, as you watched his expression every single time, you couldn't help but laugh. It was a little bit adorable to see a dragon being like this. But most of all, you just knew that Neuvillette was that kind of person that would be difficult to convince. So, if he doesn't initially see the appeal, then there wasn't a lot that you were going to do. All you could do now was just nod and hope that he at least understood. Well, since you're such a good listener today, how about you just lay down and we can cuddle for a little bit? I'm feeling rather tired here. He nodded and laid down. Sometimes he didn't know what to do. Actually, that was most of the time, but he was too embarrassed to admit that. He was still trying to learn. For now, he would let you take the lead. So as he laid down, and you wrapped your arms around him, letting your hands run through his long silky hair, he just sighed softly. You're beautiful. You know what? You look too young to be a daddy. And he coughed, shaking his head. Please, Ryan, let's not discuss this. I truly do not want to think about it. You laughed some more, sighing softly in a more wistful manner. All right, if that's what you say. It's a wonder you managed to stay this young looking. The only way I'd know you're so old is by the way that you talk and your behavior. But that's a topic for another day, Nuvi. For now, I'd just like to rest in your arms. And for you to rest in mine. You say, and he seems quite satisfied with that. All he wants is to be in your arms, to feel relaxed with you, and to know less about a lot of things that humans did. Sometimes knowing more did not offer him a lot of understanding. So right now, he'd be much more satisfied the less he knew and the less that he wondered about these things, especially with how shy he got, which was more funny the more you just saw it. But truly, he is daddy material, and technically he does count as a father for all the Melusines, so you're not really that wrong. But he won't argue your case, not in front of the Chief Justice.